Welcome, family. Welcome, family. LanceScurv here. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here this on this wonderful start of my day. I just have to say that I woke up really late because I was doing a video, working on a video that I put up about Tiffany Haddish. I had to speak on that. Yes, it was about an entertainer, celebrity, so-called, which I don't revere her as anything to be uplifted, but it was just what she said and how she said it. It's the video prior to this one, so you can see that. It's just one of those things that I do every now and then. But I had a delicious slumber up here in the beautiful mountains, and I'm on my middle balcony, and I just have a few thoughts that I wanted to share. I'm expecting a phone call not too long from now, and I know how much time I have, but I just couldn't resist coming online and just coming out here for this particular segment. And I have to say that I love the different types of content. This doesn't require any extensive preparation. You can just come on and do your thing and move on. But I like to prepare, I like to present. So it's almost like a vehicle that has different gears, right? When you're going slow, you're creeping in traffic, you can be in first gear. But if you're on the highway, depending on how many gears you have, 4 gears, 5 gears, you can be in 6th gear if it's a sports car. So this kind of tailor fits the opportunity for me to make different types of content, on the fly, on the go. So I always start off my day with this. It would have to be something where I have to get up early and leave and don't have the time to do it. But this is not as early as it was yesterday. But when I awaken and my mind is fresh, I say, hey, let me speak on this. Well, I do get online on my phone. I lay there for a while when I wake up, and I let my downloads hit my mind. I check how I feel, what I desire to do for the day, what I can't do for the day. Because, if I'm going to go for a nice long walk in the morning time and it's pouring down rain and thunder and lightning, then I have to alter my plans. So that being said, I'm very flexible in what I do. And I know right now it's 10:13 in West Africa, Ghana. And I know that it's got to be like 6:14 on the East Coast. So I don't expect too many people to be here vibing in the comment section, but that's okay, because you'll have ample time to do so with the content that I do spread out over the day. This is definitely going to be a content day. I'm not going anywhere, and I have not even left the house. I haven't even left the property in days. I can't even remember. It's coming up on a week now. So when left alone, and to be able to meditate and self-reflect and clean house and just think about my life, I feel so elevated right now that I do not have to deal with unwanted energies. And yeah, I said unwanted energies, because when you are in close proximity to so many different people, when you have to be at this place at this time, when you have to go here, it happens to me. There are many times when I go down to the city, and I've mentioned this before, that when I come back, I feel a little tainted because I had to deal with, funny little stares and folks looking at you up and down. Good people too, but whatever you encounter out there, it averages out. And when you come from such an isolated existence, which is good, right? It's a good thing that when you're home, you're totally recharged and you do not have to deal with anybody. You don't have to see anybody, physically you're protected, and you don't have to even look at anybody because you got a wall around your property. It's a beautiful thing. No one can impose their energies on me. So when I go out, I'm such a clean slate. It's almost like walking out with a clean white shirt on a dusty construction site. Things will show up easier on that fabric. So on a spiritual level, that's the way it is with me. So I really, really guard myself when I go out because I want to come back with the same charge that I had when I left. You see? So you wake up in the morning time, hopefully you put your smartphone on the charger and it's 100%. So you're like, good, I got 100% charge for the whole day. Now, if your battery's good, it's not going to run down all the way to zero or it's out. Only if you fail to put it on the charger, right? So if you fail to put it on the charger or you think it's on the charger, you go to sleep and you might be at 26%. You might wake up and it's at 3%, but you have to go and you don't have any time to charge it. That's where you have to get a battery block, right? But spiritually, we don't have that. So when we come home, we have to come home to a clean home, physically clean also, of course, right? But spiritually clean, mentally clean, where there's nothing ruffling your feathers, a place where you can truly wind down and let your hair down. I'll call it a spiritual hospital, a place of healing. Just think how many people that you run across out in the outside world, and they do not have that place of healing. So when they go home with a 26% charge on their phone, they're home. By the time they leave, they're probably at 10%. But where do they get their charge? I don't know. Here and there along the way. Do they even realize that they need a charge to top off their energy to deal with what's coming at them at the end of the day, or during the day, rather, excuse me. So many people don't even think this way. And so they end up, whatever way they end up, because they're not aware of the energies within and how it needs to be protected and honed. And the sun is coming out so beautifully. The clouds are a little cloudy, not overcast clouds where it's going to rain, but there's some clouds in the sky. And I'm okay with that. I'm going to have a very much a natural day filled with nature. I'm just going to soak up nature and recharge. And right now, my energies, and we need to do this, right? We don't really know the exact number, but since you're on your smartphone so much, treat yourself like you are a smartphone. And what do I mean by that? When you wake up, hopefully you're charged all the way, topped off 100%. But say to yourself, how do I feel? Do I feel 100%? Do I feel ready to be able to take on a day? Or am I 90%? Am I 57% because I was on the phone past my bedtime dealing with somebody who just wants to talk about some relationship they were in 40 years ago and how they're still hurt? These things can drain you. You have to be very careful about being drained and having stuff add on to you. Some people that you get around, they add on to you. And you're not taking from them. They're so topped off in their energies that they actually give to you. Their cup runneth over. I've had friends down through the years, and we all know people like this who are just quite generous, and you're not looking to take from them, and I will get on with the topic, right? But every time you go over their house, they're like, oh, I got this extra. Here, take it. And you're like, wow, it better be something that's worth $3,000, but it's some little gadget or something that they give you. And it's not about what that gadget is or what that item is. It's just that they gave it to you and they weren't looking for anything, right? That's a beautiful way to be. And with people who I deem are worthy in my life, I will give to them, but don't come around looking to audit me to see what it is that you can take with a smile on your face. And you'll feel it too. And it feels funny. It may be when you go over somebody's house or they come by and they say, I bought these shirts for my niece. I know you have a daughter, and these shirts that I bought, they have a no return policy, so I can't do anything with it. I think your daughter can fit this. Is this her size? Here, take it. Or give it away to somebody, right? But people like that can be used. So when they give you something and they're aware of how the energies work, well, then consider yourself blessed because they know you're worthy of it, because they know that you're also a giver to the right people. You see, the problem is when we're a giver to the wrong people and we say to ourselves, well, we're giving, it doesn't matter their heart. Yes, it does. Stop giving to people who are takers, who all they want from you is to take. And they're doing so aggressively and it doing so with a sense of entitlement. No, no. Even if you can spare it, give that item or give that energy or give that time to somebody who needs it. That's when you will be blessed by the by I was going to say, I don't know why I said neighborhood, the spiritual neighborhood. That's where you be blessed from sources that have nothing to do with the transaction of energy between the both of you when you give to the righteous person, because you'll be replenished from another source in another way. It may not be right away, but you'll be replenished when you need it. That's the beauty of being out here in nature, because I see that. Because you know what? I don't know any bird. I don't know any squirrel. I don't know any snake. Snakes have a right to be here too. They serve their purpose. Just don't run across one that's poisonous. I don't know any one of these so-called animals, because technically we're animals also. But I don't know any animal that has a refrigerator or refrigerator. I said it in New York style, refrigerator. Right? I don't know any animal that has a bathroom. So when I see the bats at night come out and feast on my papayas, on my papaya trees, there's a lot of papayas around here. I don't know if I could, if you'd see them. Let me just tilt this down. See, yes, some right here. Okay. I don't think you can differentiate, but they're there. I don't want to touch the screen and mess anything up, but they take what they need and they move it along. And even in the act of eating, they're not just taking, because when a bird flies away and, hopefully you've never been the target of the gifts that birds drop when they are flying, but when their excrement hits the soil, it feeds the soil for other growth to come. Now, they may not be around or be alive when that next plant that they could feast from grows, but it's the overall system. It may be their offspring, it may be another animal, it may be another human who will reap the benefits of what was dropped as far as the minerals and the nitrogen and the things that plants use in rich soil. So in essence, they're part of the cycle of life. And this is what we have to understand. Are you, or the people around you part of the righteous cycle of life? So even when they go about their own way, are they leaving something good for someone else afterward? The problem is when we take and we don't give back, and you don't have to give back to the person who gave you. You can give it to somebody else, but understand that you're part of a bigger system that helps everyone. But in the man-made engineered system, it's all about greed. It's all about, let me get as much as I can. And most people die lonely with their gadgets. They die lonely with their prestigious address, right? Attached to their name. They die with the latest flat screen TV that they just keep talking about. They die lonely with the latest smartphone that next year the new one is coming out. Diminishing returns is not part of the righteous system of life. What are you feeding into? I ask myself these questions all the time. And again, I had so many things in my head to talk about. And yes, I want to mention the title and the subject, but this is leading up into it. And so when we say the war on our wombs is an attack on our future, what system is that womb connected to? Is it connected to the engineered man-made system that gives you nothing back? You may see some material gain in it, but there's no spiritual replenishing going on? Or are you connected to the natural, righteous, God force, creator made system that feeds back into you life? What are the energies that you entertain? And I'm not bashing women, but these things need to be said. I'm not going to sit down and be afraid that somebody's going to leave a comment because they're on a lower vibration. Just don't damn understand. I can't walk around with a size 12 foot squeezing into a size 10 shoe and grinning and bearing it. I'm sorry, I gotta have some wiggle room with my toes. So I gotta tell it the way I see it. And if you disagree, fine. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can share a perspective with me to help me to understand to go higher. Or maybe something out of this can help you, even if it is painful. Because to know that we were off a little bit sometimes. But see, if you reject that pain, you'll never grow. And I don't mean actual pain, but this comfort of realizing, oh my God, you know, I was off a little bit. So in that, I look for that type of righteous pain that helps me to grow. I'm looking to be righteously critiqued. There's no ego here because I'm trying to ascend as much as I can. You have only but so much time here, which we know time is a man-made construct. And in the other levels, from what I'm learning, and maybe I'm wrong, but on the next level of existence where our energies go, there is no clock, there is no time. It's about being. Where is the energy that you have, the energy that you possess? Where do you find yourself? Pull yourself out of the system for a second. I know that we're here and we're trapped in it, but we're not really trapped. We're coming out of it, whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not, we're coming out of this world, the false world. And we need to enjoy the natural world even more so. Because to be honest, I'm going to tell you, for me, I've learned more being out here than ever, than any other time in my life. I've learned so much, and I can't thank the Creator enough. It's really crazy how people think that they can just put things in your comment section like they're going to really make money that way. When after the show is over, it will be deleted and blocked. Or you're that hungry, get out and do some real work. That's what I'm saying. Some of us are so caught up in the hustle and so much caught up in the social media thing where I can get clicks. And if I go and spam this one and spam that one, I will get, no. That's not the way to really attract the ascension into a new reality. You draw things to you by who you are. Why do you think a person who, let's just say, addicted to alcohol or addicted, let's just make it far out. Say, for example, you have somebody who's not working. They're that family member who just doesn't have it going on, but you feed them and you give them a room. It could be that uncle that just had a really traumatic situation in his life. And you're like, he was in a car accident. He caught his wife cheating. He fell and broke his neck. You know what I mean? We know he smokes crack now, but we can't just throw him out in the street. He doesn't even bother anybody. So you're living in New York, or you're living in Dallas, or you're living in Las Vegas, Oakland, wherever you're living in a major city, and you decide to move to the country. And he doesn't have the resources to be on his own. So this family member, who others would say that don't like him, oh, he's a deadbeat, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't contribute, whatever. But you're still going to carry him along. It's just, what's an extra plate of food? What's a little bit of extra soap? What's a little bit of extra room? Okay. Because see, even not to go for the tangent, but even those types, right? I don't know about the crack part, right? But even those types have their use because they're home when the kids come home from school. So you don't have to have them go to a daycare, whatever. Hey, listen, you don't even have to say you're not doing anything, you're not contributing anything. So you ask that one to do things. Listen, I need that yard straightened up. I need that grass cut. I need my other car washed and detail it. You got the time. And they're cool with that. They may be broken, right? But when you move to the country because you want to move to the country because this family member doesn't have any say-so in the major decisions because he's getting a free ride. So you decide to go somewhere out in Tennessee, somewhere out in Louisiana, in the backwoods, because that's what you want. You're ready to retire. Your kids are grown. They're out of college now, whatever the situation may be. They have their own children, their own job, they're out the house, and you want to go. Where's he going to go? He's got no choice to come with you, right? So when that family member comes with you, he's out there in the backwoods of Louisiana, but you know he smokes crack. I said all that to say this. Isn't it amazing that even if he has to walk 15 miles, he's going to find him some crack? Even if he has to walk 5 miles, he's going to find somebody in the backwoods of Louisiana to hang out with because they have the common endeavor and indulgence of smoking crack. Why am I saying all of this? Like-minded people attract like-minded people. And it's not just about the mind. We know what's in their mind, but it's the energy. And they can see each other and download something about each other. Whatever things you indulge in, it's so easy to find kindred spirits when you are so caught up in what it is that you do. It's just a matter of time, right? So, ladies, your wombs, they are under attack. And they're under attack because they're trying to destroy humanity. They're trying to go through the children to destroy our future. Haven't you heard, and we know this, and sometimes many of our sisters don't do it, but when you are pregnant, you have to speak to your child. You have to let them hear good music. We're not talking about some thumping gangster rap that corporate America put out there to perpetuate that behavior. But you have to have a soft, loving environment, nurturing, nourishing on all levels, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And you have to commandeer your energy because whatever you ingest, we're not even just talking about food, but whatever you ingest, let's just say the food. If you eat bad food, guess what? The child has no choice but to take from the menu of what you've offered and put in your body. So this is why I don't understand our sisters who may be pregnant and still have to sip a little alcohol. They still feel a little argumentative. They haven't cleaned themselves up on a spiritual level, and they have a toxic womb. A toxic womb. Do you feel good about eating out of a kitchen? Say you're over a friend or family member's house and you eat out of the kitchen and you see roaches, you see rats and mice and flies. They're preparing the stuff as though those things don't exist. And flies are landing all on the food. And then it shouldn't even be like that. It shouldn't even be that way. And you're preparing a meal for someone, for you, and you know how it's been prepared. Well, you don't want to eat that. But we have to understand a child has no choice. When you have venom in your heart, when you have jealousy and envy in your heart, when you're worldly and all you can think about is the external adornments, and there's no connectedness to the energies that will bring forth a child that is ahead of the game. You'll bring forth a child that is diminished, and it's engineered that way. Because everything that is righteous, everything that is good in the world that you can do and indulge in, this engineered world will suggest to you that it's okay. That it's okay to go against the laws. It's a law, but they didn't say it was a rule. We know it's a rule, righteously. But you have free will. And you also have free will to destroy yourself and your womb. And this man-made world is there to usher you and encourage you and to help you to do just that. You think not? Look at the state of our communities. Look at how the children are going on now. You know, time, the artificial construct, what we use to mark our space and energies in this world, is moving on so fast. Just the other day, I was 19 years old. or 16 years old. Now, switch those numbers around. I'm 61 now. I'm not caught up in the chronological measurements, but I do use it as a gauge. When you go on a trip and it's a pleasurable ride, you say, I want to drive cross country. I want to go from New York to California. Well, I don't think about California now. It's jacked up as that place is. Let's just say New York to Texas. Just something across and down in the country, but you have no destination. But you want to go for the pleasurable ride in the experience, right? What experience are we giving our children even before they come here, even before sperm hits egg, right? Is your womb clean enough? Or is your womb like that dirty kitchen with roaches, with rats, with vermin, with maggots, with flies? All of these things come around to consume the dead matter. Huh? So when you're full of envy and jealousy and arrogance and entitlement, worldliness, lust, that's a dirty kitchen. And your child is not a meal to be consumed. But because you have indulged in so much of this worldly trash, you're preparing a meal for these evil entities who want all of the transgressions to happen against the God force. You're actually giving them a meal to consume from. So why are you shocked when your daughters are swinging around a stripper pole? Why are you shocked when somebody comes to tell you that they saw your daughter walking down the Holstrow? Holstrow, that's what we call it up in New York. I don't know what you'd call it around the world or in different parts of the country, but where the prostitutes walk at night. Why are you shocked? Now, this is not a blame thing. And kudos to all of our sisters who already know, and kudos to all of the brothers who guard the womb, because you got just as much to do with this as anything else. You planted the seed, but you have to stand around and make sure that plant grows healthy and strong. You don't plant something and let a car go drive over it and trample over it. You don't plant something and know that there are different types of animals who are going to eat the leaves and eat the plant. No, you got to guard that thing and protect it and feed it and let that woman do what she needs to do naturally to produce a high vibrating being full of righteous energy into the world. See, lots of times we say, oh, we don't know why they turned out this way. Somebody didn't do their job. Somebody dropped the ball. The environment, yes, but what about internally, the internal preparation? Why would you let a man ejaculate inside of you and you're looking at him because he's so handsome and muscular and fine, so you say? But what is his spirit? You don't understand that sexuality is just as much, if not more, of a spiritual exchange and an energy exchange. And if this man is full of demons, you'd like to take in demon seed? Now, if he has a propensity to be this way with his energy, the energy can be changed by what you do and how you nurture. But it's like a crack baby. The baby didn't ask for crack, but the mother was smoking crack, and now that baby was born with an addiction to crack. It's not just a separate entity. How dare you think this? So we have to understand that even before conception, we have to prepare your womb. And I say we, and I'm a man. I don't have a womb. But even when it's not your seed, and you're out in society, you have to make sure that that womb is guarded, because there's so many men who will not stay around to guard that womb, to protect it. You ever see a tree or a young tree that can be knocked down easy in public? Like, you know how they plant trees along, the sidewalk, the curb, and you have the sidewalk and everything. Well, they will usually put something around it, so a little kid riding a bike doesn't run over it. It's not even a tree. It's a young plant that's coming up to be a tree, right? But they make sure it's protected because they know harm can come to it if left alone. And so in the war against us, as you can see, old folks like me at 61 years old, they don't care. Oh yeah, Lance, we know you're speaking what's right, but you're no threat no more, because you're not going to be around 100 years from now. So we are investing in your children to destroy you and wipe you off the face of this earth. and don't dare have any sense of humanity and righteousness and acknowledgement of a creator. This is why there's so many alternative ways of claiming how you worship, and you can't say anything about it. There is, I don't think, look, let's go the way of the animals. Let's go the way of the animals, right? There's truth in Christianity, there's truth in Islam, there's truth in Judaism, but how many of us really submit to that? Is that really the true double yellow lines that we're not supposed to cross? Or is that truly completely the guide for us after being tainted so much? So let's derive what we can out of that as far as what's good. But you have to trust your instincts. You have to trust that spiritual GPS system. And look at the animals. If your spirit is loving, if your spirit is kind, and you're not an aggressive, evil person that just wants to kill an animal just to kill it, or look at him over there, let's just shoot it because the fur would look good hanging up in our living room wall. They could sense that about you. And you see that deer far away, not bothering anybody, just getting a little water over there by the pond or the lake, and it sees you. And for a second, it freezes because it's evaluating your energy, how you feel. We all have an energy field around us, and most of us are not aware. Of course, most of us are not aware, because look at the mess we get into with the people who are around us, or who we allow to have come into our space, right? Not to be lewd, but look at who you allow to come into your vagina. Are you guarding? Have you evaluated? Have you assessed? Do you let anybody come to your company and get the job because they seem to be okay? No, there's a resume. You better check out what they've been doing years before in their life. And you can't allow them just to tell you, because many people are such shapeshifters that they're going to tell you lies because they want to get the job. They're going to tell you lies because they want to get the pleasure of your womb, but they don't want the responsibility of what comes out of that womb. He don't deserve your heaven unless he can qualify and prove. He's got to be worthy. And it's not about being qualifying for it, right? But you have different stages of allowing somebody into your space. You just don't swing open the door and tell the whole neighborhood and everybody walking by, hey, we got a lot of dinner here. Come on in and eat. You have all kind of jokers sitting up in your living room and in your kitchen and peeing on your toilet and missing the aim, and sticky floors from them urinating all over the place because they won't respect it because it's too free. And that's why so many men don't respect the woman, because she's too free. And many of our sisters get tainted in their thinking and say they feel they're making a game. Well, if they want that and they hurt me, let me get something out of it. Pay my bills. But you can't win that way, because they can pay your bills, but they have still transferred energy into you, which we're self-destructing, because this is what the enemy wants, who wants to destroy us. It's a war in your womb, and it's a long-term thing. You at the party with your girlfriends, house party, it may not even be a house party. It may be where you all getting together, especially the sisters. They're getting together and they getting their hair done. Somebody's getting their hair braided. Somebody's getting it relaxed. You don't need to stop that relaxing stuff, but I understand. We got to work on that. And you're hanging around. You're in the kitchen. You're eating. Somebody's in the doorway standing there and getting their hair done. They just woke up. Y'all are having a good time on a Saturday morning. And there's a music video on the TV playing, or maybe something on the radio. And then a little 3-year-old comes in, 3 or 4 years old. They come in the room and they hear the beat and they start dancing. And what do? Go ahead, get it, girl, get it, girl. Ooh, look at her, she got the moves. She gonna put it on when she gets older. Really, put it on the men. And you think it's playful, you think it's fun. But you're programming that child to see their only value is through sexuality. And I've learned that. Very nice women that I've known in this lifetime. But I can see that when they want to show, and this is not all women, I'm telling you what I know as a man, right? That when they want to show some type of appreciation to that man, it's, well, I'm gonna go on and give him the coochie. And you don't even know who this man is. It's a reward. It's been reduced to an item, like a cookie and a pretzel in school after the class has been good, like a star on a report in school. Like in elementary school, you get a star on your thing. Oh, I got 3 stars. That means mine was good. But this is life. We're manufacturing life. We are creators. What are you creating? Well, look at what you've created. And I'm talking to the men also. This is both, y'all. Even though the child approximately stays in the womb for 9 months, the bottom line is you put it there. And even though you're not carrying the child, you have a responsibility to provide, to protect, to have wisdom, and to be there when the child comes out so they can feel both energies. And I don't care if you don't have any days off left on your job. When you know that labor is coming, I just feel that the man has to be there. That's a very righteous thing. And the child can feel your masculine energy. And just think of how many men, unfortunately, weren't there. And there's a yearning in that girl child, that boy child, for that masculine energy. I remember my father would hold me when I was a little baby. I remember that. And I remember when my mother would hold me, and they would be together sometimes sitting on the couch. Maybe they're watching TV or talking, and I'm there. And I'm looking up at my mommy, and I'm looking up at my daddy. I don't know what the heck is going on. I just know this feels good. I felt protected. I was fed. I was rested. Diapers changed. This was an experience, even an extension of the womb, because now I'm home. And I always say that. How the womb, the word womb and home sound the same, because they are the same, right? You're in the womb, you're being fed by what your mother puts in her bloodstream. You're hearing the sounds around you. So if it's soothing stuff, if it's loving talk, you learn the tones and the voices through the womb. If she's upset, you get upset because certain chemicals are released into the body. Stress, certain substances, certain hormones, fight or flight. If your mother was in a constant fight or flight mentality with a man who was abusive to her, beating her, when you were in the womb, you're going to come out scared. You're going to come out watching your back. Like when you're walking down the neighborhood, a bad neighborhood, crime-ridden, drugs, cops harassing you, people throwing things at you, trying to snatch your bag. You're scared to go to the ATM. You're going to come out of the womb in your own home with a different mentality than a child who was born into a nurturing, loving, stable, secure environment. I'm going to tell you right now, that's the environment that I was born into. And you have a lot of people now who are grown, who, while they may not have been molested or beat unnecessarily or whatever, they came up in that atmosphere and they didn't have those nurturing energies at that point. It's the same as a child going to kindergarten and first grade, but you put him in high school after first grade. He can't handle it. He can't handle the work. It wasn't done gradually. You go from womb to home. And unfortunately, in this society, this sick, wicked society that are run by demonic people, yeah, I'm going to say it, they want this for you. They want your child to miss some of the steps and be hungry with voids inside of them, seeking out what they didn't get on a nutritious level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Or you can be hungry and eat and be all right. But does a child know what they crave on a spiritual level so young? They don't know. They just know they have a void. What voids do we have? Do you have any voids? Do I have any voids? I look for voids inside of me, although I know my childhood was pretty much correct, and that doesn't make me better than anybody else. But the bottom line is, we have to undo what was done, even if it was done passively, even if it was done where our parents didn't know better. Sometimes we can't blame them. Sometimes they were in circumstances where generationally they were underdeveloped to be aware of these things. But the technology may be out there, but that can't whip that spiritual, unseen, natural process that the man-made world, the engineered world, the demonic world, the world of control, the world of removing you from nature wants you not to have. They're engineering everything now. They're playing like a God beside God. And I'm not speaking God on the European level. I'm talking, look in front of me, man. There, ladies listening too. I'm just saying, that's how I talk. Because I'm getting upset. Look in front of you. Look at nature. Look at the plants. Every single plant and tree has a purpose for us. It was made that way. Do you think this was by chance? Are you so caught up in the man-made engineered world that you don't see what's in front of you? Your lunchbox has been packed. Your bed has been made. Everything you need is in front of you in nature. All you have to do is show the effort to go get that papaya, get that mango, get that pineapple if you want it. And just like the birds who don't have a refrigerator, you take what you need and move on. Because wherever you go on this earth, as long as it's untainted by the demonic hands of these rulers and the people like Bill Gates, I'm going to say it, who don't want you to have a relationship with nature. Why do you need a shot? I'll say it that way. If you're consuming foods that are preventative from getting you sick, right? Why do you need to go to a mental health specialist if you have enough tranquility and meditation time to self-heal yourself? If things are severe, sure. If you are traumatized, sure. If a woman is violated physically, I don't want to say the R word, but then there's going to have to be intervention from those who are the elders who know. And elders don't necessarily mean that they have to be olders. Oh, you're 35 years old. You're an elder. How do you know? They might be an old fool who never elevated. At my age, I know people in their 30s and 40s who are elders to me because of the experience, the wisdom, and knowledge that they have accrued in the years that chronologically have been shorter than mine, but they have ascended. You know, when you see in Ebony Magazine, Jet Magazine, or you see it online, you go on Instagram or whatever. Yes, 13-year-old finished college. You know what I mean? Now, they may not know about life and experience, but they finish all this stuff scholastically. So now if they tell you something on a scientific level, you better bow down and, understand that they know a little more than you that way. Right? I mean, we're all a little stupid in something. I don't mean to call you stupid, but that's one of my private sayings. And when I meet somebody who's condescending, when I meet somebody who's caught up in, look at the wall behind me, I have all of these degrees. And yes, and I received this honorary degree, and I speak here and I do this. These anal people. But are you in connection with nature? For all you've achieved in the man-made world, yes, that's good to have that kind of knowledge in your area of expertise, but it doesn't stop the natural. And your connectedness should be to the natural world. If you're so caught up in the man-made world, all you're doing is blowing smoke up somebody's backside with that stuff. Because see, some of these people who are so caught up in their worldly achievements have hell in their house, are unhappy in their life, and don't know how to heal up. You see, if you take, and these are folks with money, right? Because lots of times, many of us who are middle class or lower, or even upper middle class, or we can't afford to and go to a mental health, not facility, but where you go out and you pay this money and they take care of you for 3 or 4 months, everything. You know how much money you have to pay for that? See, so you still got to pay money for that. but some people think they have to. But you can get a little bit of mental health ascension every day. People say, man, Lance, you online all the time. Yes, I am. But guess what? Even more so, look in front of you. This is every day for me. This is not a vacation. Oh, I'm going to go down to the Caribbean and enjoy some good weather and enjoy quiet and peace. No, I'm in quiet and peace every single day. Unless it's a loud little scooter going up the road that you can probably hear in the background. That's okay. It lets me know that people not too far. But when I walk around under these trees that you see, who's seeing me? I got a wall around and I can walk there. I can go back there and take off all my clothes. I like doing that. Isn't it something people say, wow, why you always talk about taking off your clothes, Lance? You crazy? No, I won't be crazy because I know I'm not going to do it in the middle of the shopping mall, y'all. Come on. I'm not stupid. What I mean is that when you see somebody have an extreme breakdown, usually in public, something that was long time coming. I've seen this. I've witnessed this at least 3 times. One time I remember it was in Times Square, and this was back in the 70s. I think it was like 1977. I'd go out to the city by myself. I used to slip out there from 12, 13 years old. I was a bad boy. There's a lot of danger, but it wasn't like now, right? I had to be like about 14 years old. This was in 1977. This was right before the blackout of 77. And they had all the sex shops and peep shows and topless bars and flashing lights and all this excitement. And it wasn't about the sex stuff for me. It did bedazzle me at that age because testosterone was hitting my system for a time. So I wasn't disgusted by the female forms that I saw in the window. This system now in the present day wants to make that abnormal, a man's attraction to a woman, right? Sweet D, welcome on in. I'm glad to see you. Thank you for the comment that you left. I see the comments. Yes, I do. I want to respond to each and every single one. And sometimes I doze off or get caught up in other things, but I know you're here. And I thank you for being here. And, oh yeah, like I was saying, witnessing a person having a nervous breakdown and the need to take off their clothes. I'm walking down and there was a man in the middle of the street, but he got back on the sidewalk. He started screaming at the top of his lungs. Out of nowhere, it frightened me. I put my back up against the wall, against the storefront, and I'm looking, and he's looking around. And you can't tell me that demon possession is something that is not real, right? But we tend to think of it as something like The Exorcist, which I believe it could be like that. But you see things. Just the other day, I had an experience where I saw something that was not there. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up honest, and I don't get high. I'm high on life, but I saw a little animal, you know, and how do you know it could be just a real animal? No, it was not real. It was not real. Once I tell you the circumstances, you'll know. Like, yo, what was that all about? But I think now because I'm in such welcomed isolation and airing out what toxicities are inside of me because of this tranquility that you always see. See, it's timeless up here. I go by the sun. Okay, the sun's getting ready to go down, so I need to hurry up and do this or do that. I get up with the sun. I go to bed with the sun. Right? That didn't sound right when you have a Diddy kind of state of mind. You don't want Diddy around your son because he'll try to go to bed with the sun. Me, I'm talking about the sun up in the sky. So this man, he was like, oh my God, all this sex, all of this sex, because that's all you had down there was movie theaters, sex movies, sex shops, dildos, love dolls, them old fake ones, the plastic, you sort of plastic seam down the side where they uh glued it together. It's crazy. There was too much wicked spirits around there. And this man might have had some dealings that way, and maybe he was passing through. I don't know what he was there for. I don't know the man. But he went off and he was talking about, look at all of this sex, it's too much. Oh my God, it's just so insane. What was he seeing? So he started snatching his clothes off. And he got most of his stuff off and he ran. He wasn't even thinking about, well, let me carry my clothes with me. So when you feel constrained, when you feel restrained, when you feel trapped, when you feel smothered in a certain type of spirit, a certain type of atmosphere, and you may have that weakness for that atmosphere, it'll make you go off the deep end because it will be overload. You know, when your car redlines, that's a nervous breakdown for your vehicle. Not really, the cars don't have emotions, but I'm comparing it to that. You're running hot, you're running toward the red line, and you overload and you overheat. And we can overheat with any combination of the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, because it's not always just one. We got people who say, oh, that's just a spiritual problem. Well, maybe your poor diet opened you up to have a spiritual issue because now you're pushing your body harder with less nutrition and you're depleting yourself. Maybe it's a combination of the emotional and spiritual, the mental and emotional, the physical and the spiritual, right? So never look at it just as it's one thing. One thing or one aspect of a person's deficiencies can be dominant. They can be 90% spiritual and 10% physical. They can be 90% spiritual, 9% physical, and 1% emotional. And it takes a real keen healer to understand. So this is why we want to treat ourselves on all levels. NFN Shaka, yes, yes. Great conversation we had. So much to share. But this is why we have to analyze ourselves. We can't just think that we're off a little bit. Oh, and we can take a pill. I will take a pill for that. So I didn't go into, I kind of went off on different tangents to set up what I want to say about the war on our wombs is an attack on our future because they're not coming after us anymore. They already have things in place. What is normal for our children right now in this world? What is normal for them? All this rainbow stuff and look, whatever you say about the man, at least he came out and said it. At least Donald Trump said, when I get in the office, it's going to be about male and female. All of this funding for all of this other stuff and trying to push kids to cut their penises off and take hormones and not have, not be a functional woman anymore. Sickness, a war on our future. Certain lifestyles, I'll say it that way, because I'm gonna get a couple thumbs down from them. Certain lifestyles, it's nothing more than birth control. Because how can two women procreate? How can two men procreate? But they want to steer you in that way because they have their goals for us. See, when an area is gentrified, it started 25, 30 years ago. They targeted that area. It's not like just gentrification happens by itself. No. See them black folks over there in the hood? Let's allow the drugs to come in there. We're going to speak to the police commissioner so that they can say to the officers, like, listen, let it go on. Let it go on. Just drive by. Don't look to get any drug arrests. We're not going to have any special units over there investigating. Let it run. Because we know 25, 30 years from now, we plan on gentrifying that neighborhood gradually and taking it over because it's close to downtown. It used to be where it was a plus if you work somewhere that you can go further out. I live in the suburbs. I live far away from the job until you realize now you don't want to do that commute anymore. And the so-called powers that you don't see, the powers that be, that pull the strings, that lead us like sheeple, they want 15-minute cities. And they're going to tell you why it's an advantage. And so now most of us, I live near my job. I shop near my job. I go to the gym near my job. I do recreation. There's nice parks around my job. Everything's within 15 minutes. And that's for control. And those of us who can't afford that, we have to go far out now. And a lot of us went far out thinking, oh, if I move out there with white folks, I'm living this dream, the American dream. And they flipped it on you. And now you're stuck in traffic trying to get to the job and they're on time. Oh, I've been here 30 minutes early. Ha, 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 ha. And you walk in there 15 minutes late. Peep the game. But many of us don't look at things long term. We don't see the long term advantages of certain moves. And, that's why I applaud Brother Shaka. He left the country. He said that before, so I'm not telling his business. I left the country. And it may not be for everybody to leave the country. Like I always say, situations are different. How would I look coming out here if I didn't have some type of retirement, right? Which that can disappear if the system collapses. But I'm glad that I'm here because if it collapses, I got stuff in my backyard that I can eat. But what if I came out here? I'm gonna find me a job. Half the Ghanaian people out here can't find a daggone job. And if you do get one, what is it paying? Nothing. So you have to be wise in your moves and not be so emotional and reactionary. You have to, it may be a bad analogy, but you have to have the mentality of a stone cold assassin. Do you know why? Because this man-made engineered system is coming at you to take from you, to suck from you and your life force like a stone cold assassin. And just like you see two boxers at the end of a boxing match hug each other most of the time, and they speak passionately to each other because they know that, well, I got to feed my family, you got to feed yours. There's two of us and we got to get the win. And that's not even a good example because it's not personal. But with these demons, they are envious of you and they hate the fact that you have life. They hate the fact that you can go outside and pick a piece of fruit and eat it. And they had nothing to do with that transaction between you and your creator. They want to be a God beside God. And they hate you for understanding that. And before I go, because I'm going to keep this under an hour, I'm going to try to remember to post this link in the comment section of this video since I'm mentioning it. But right now, there's from Reuters now, it's official, that they are signing legislation now to restrict visas of any American who wants to come to Ghana. Right? And this is the way they said it. This is not a knock on the Ghanaian people. This is not a knock on the Ghanaian government, but they're going to restrict certain Americans. Read between the lines. White folks ain't migrating to Ghana. I'm quite sure some have, but it's mostly us. And what is it that they feel is about to happen to make more of us go en masse? Why are they watching your social media to understand your ideologies? And I'm going to say this, the time is running down. The other thing they said, which sparked me off, is because they want to restrict the visas for anyone who would come to Ghana and interfere with democracy. Well, why are they concerned about Ghana all of a sudden? Why do they want to restrict people from coming here? You know why? Because people are getting hip and they're waking up. And not only do they just want to move here, but they have a revolutionary mindset and can connect with the resources here and with the people here and do great things, not just to make money, but to wake people up. And that's the purpose of Memorandum 46. And if you want to see Memorandum 46, go to LanceScurv.com. Scroll down. If you're on the computer, it's going to be on the left-hand side. There's a little widget there that says Memorandum 46. Click it, and you'll understand the spirit in which I speak. So they're worried about people like me who have a revolutionary mindset. I'm not sitting here saying revolutionary, I'm going to get weapons. No, but I know the deal. And they want to have their stronghold on this land. And they don't want us to benefit from what is rightfully ours. Whether you come from Ghana, whether you come from Kenya, whether you come from South Gambia, wherever. You might have already been in America. I'm not disputing that. The whole planet is Africa. We're the original caretakers. So stop that separatist foolishness. But I just want to say, I'm wrapping it up now. I always keep it under an hour so I can post to other social media platforms. So that way, we can get the word out. I'm going to work on some stuff immediately after doing a few chores. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Take care. LanceScurv out.